Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and expert in Warner Brothers Discovery. I've covered every aspect of Warner Brothers Discovery and DC Studios. Over the last 90 days or so, I've done 90 videos on Warner Brothers Discovery. Check them out. Today, we're talking about DCU's biggest priority, according to James Gunn. It's Superman. He needs to get Superman going. He knows that. He says that. He acknowledges it. Coming from the Wrap, Superman is DC Studios' biggest priority. James Gunn says, today is the 44th anniversary of Richard Donner's Superman the movie, and James Gunn did send a tweet acknowledging it, which was a nice thing to do 44 years ago today. What an amazing, ultimate great superhero movie. Let me know what you think of that in the comments below. Do you think Superman 1978 is like one of the best and ultimate superhero movies, just like I do? Okay, let's get into the article. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up when you like it. You guys have been great. We did hit 4,000 subscribers. Really appreciate you guys. DC Studios chief James Gunn took to Twitter to commemorate the 44th anniversary of Richard Donner's classic Superman the movie and reiterated to fans that Superman is a huge priority, if not the biggest priority, for DC Studios. Now that Gunn is overseeing and planning the next decade of DC Studios movies, a fan asked him if they were going to see a Superman movie. His response, yes, of course, Superman is a huge priority, if not the biggest priority. It's been a busy few weeks for the Man of Steel, as Henry Cavill recently made an appearance as Superman in the Black Adam post-credit scene, which was very cool. However, both Dwayne Johnson and Cavill took to Twitter to announce that Superman is back. But, as The Wrap previously reported, there's currently no deal in place at the moment for Cavill to star as Superman in future DC Studios movies. According to numerous insiders with knowledge of the situation, although it has been previously reported that the search for a writer was currently underway, the fact is there's currently no writer or director attached to the project, and there's currently no formal deal with Cavill to return. On Friday, The Hollywood Reporter's Heat Vision blog revealed that Peaky Blinders creator Stephen Knight wrote a treatment for Man of Steel back in September that wasn't going forward, as Gunn and DC Studios co-chief Peter Safran arrived last month to set DC's house in order. Additionally, according to an insider, as it currently states, there's no forward momentum on the Superman project, while Gunn and Safran have been busy fine-tuning their long-range plans for DCU. Gunn and Safran are pitching their DCU plan to Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav this week, and it is now certain that Superman will return. The question is whether Cavill will don the cape or will it be a new actor? Well, there's more questions than just that. But there's a 10-year plan. They just started a month ago, really, as heads of DC Studios, Safran and Gunn, and they've been making announcements. James Gunn has been doing a fantastic job on Twitter of updating people on what some of the work in progress and decisions are and some of the commitments. But we do have to understand that they just started. They do have to put a plan together. They're near the completion of the plan. This is 10 years worth of stories for film, for TV, for animation, for video games, not comics. They're not touching the comics. It's too complicated, but for a lot of stories. And all of that has to then be completed, submitted to David Zaslav, CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, who's watching this whole thing very, very carefully and very, very closely, because he's looking to build a multi-billion-dollar franchise in just DC Studios. And they will, and they can, as long as they stay disciplined and they keep everything on brand, like they've been doing so far and talking about respecting fans, respecting audiences. They'll pull it off. But first, they have to submit their plan to David Zaslav, who is going to sign off on it and say, yeah, we want to do this. Or he's going to say, look, I want changes. Or he's going to say, look, I agree to this, but I don't agree to all that. So there's really no way to sign Henry Cavill to a deal for Superman when they don't really even know, well, how many Superman films are we going to do? That would be part of the plan. Some of it could be subjected to box office success or not. But are they going to not do Superman movies? You know, if a Superman movie comes out and it doesn't do what they want it to do dollar-wise, are they going to not put out a second Superman movie again after that? Of course they are. They'll just retool and change things a little bit. But to assume that, okay, well, they're going to have the script, they're going to have the director, they know the direction they're going in, before they even have the whole plan together that's approved for what they're doing with DC Studios, doesn't really seem to make a lot of sense. Now, another issue is back and forth. There seems to be some battles with Dwayne Johnson over what his vision is of Black Adam and the DCU in general. What's interesting is, and this is why planning is so important, is that all the characters that appeared in Black Adam, maybe Superman 2, maybe not Superman. We don't know because we haven't seen the contracts. However, the characters that appeared in Black Adam, Hawkman, Dr. Fate, the rest of them, any projects that come out with them individually or come out with them as a team, the Justice Society, are considered a spin-off for the purposes of sharing money, sharing credit, and probably producing the films. And this is what happens when characters are introduced as part of a new project. If the producer contract says any characters that appear in future series, not just Black Adam, but again, Hawkman. What, you're taking Hawkman and you're saying that's a spin-off of Black Adam? Yeah, that's what the contracts say, apparently. So there's development on Hawkman by Dwayne Johnson, some follow-up spin-off project at his production company. It may not be something they're working on closely with Peter Safran and James Gunn. We don't really know what's going on with that. But it's important to note that these are actually considered spin-offs, these characters that are part of the agreement to produce Black Adam. So now they have a partner in Dwayne Johnson, whether they like it or not. Or DC may decide, well, we're not going to actually do those spin-offs, and then they would just be limited to what they can do with those characters. It starts to get complicated. As far as Superman's tie-up with Dwayne Johnson and Henry Cavill's tie-up with Dwayne Johnson, we don't know. There hasn't been anything specific about it, but it's something to watch out for because you can see it certainly has affected Hawkman, Justice Society, Dr. Fate, all these related characters that did appear in Black Adam. Now, another interesting story, I've heard 6 different versions of this story, so I'm glad Bounding at the Comics went ahead and did a nice solid article boiling it down to this is what seems like it's actually going on. New Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom test screening allegedly proves Amber Heard is still in the film, but Mera is sidelined for a third of it. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom had another test screening, and there's buzz emanating from it, along with some new intel. According to YouTuber Sai Abdul, the test audience is raving about the sequel and its visual effects score more highly than Black Panther Wakanda Forever. But the main thing coming to light is what's up with Mera. As you know, tremendous drama with Amber Heard. Abdul hears that Amber Heard is still in the film, at least the current cut, and Mera's arc takes a turn that keeps her out of the action for the most part. While she does not die, she reportedly lands in the hospital for a third of the running time, despite being in some important, however unspecified scenes. Some of them are so pivotal, Abdul says, that Mera could not be removed and keep the plot coherent. According to multiple sources, you can't just remove Mera. Some scenes just wouldn't even work, the commentator revealed. His sources also told him Heard doesn't have a lot of screen time, which could open the door to recasting. Someone like Emilia Clarke taking over has been long rumored and desired by fans. It is thought, except, as Abdul points out, you're talking about redoing several action scenes that have already been shot, edited, color graded, and incorporated into every cut of Aquaman 2. So very unlikely they would change it. It's a lot of money and a lot of time. Already having endured costly reported reshoots, more money would be poured into further do-overs. That'd be irrational at this point for a studio tightening its belt after it struggled financially in the past few years. Mera remaining is the only move that makes sense when they can hold on to her action beats when she shows up in the beginning and at the end while staying out of the thick of things. Additionally, according to Abdul's source, Nicole Kidman and Patrick Wilson pick up some of the dramatic slack and butt-kicking duties as Orm and Ilana due to paring down Mera's place in the plot wherever feasible. Heard alluded to this during the defamation trial, which former DC Films exec Walter Hamada contradicted. Nevertheless, she's still there. Upset fans who don't want to see Amber Heard anymore might not be pleased, but that seems to be what Warner Brothers decided on. Abdul keeps in mind that the cut of Lost Kingdom's screen may not be the final one, and recasting Mera is always on the table in the future. Of course, by then, it isn't going to be soon enough for everyone. COVID lockdowns and the dual strategy release in 2021 put HBO Max on a pedestal, but the confluence of misfortune and desperation robbed them of the coin they could have made from traditional theatrical windows in a normal business climate. Still, despite normalcy returning to a degree, average moviegoers and fans aren't as compelled to take in the latest big releases. So we'll see what happens on Aquaman 2. Are you going to see Aquaman 2? It sounds like they did a lot of work to make it better. A lot of people don't like Amber Heard. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. And I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.